My friends, it is truly a pleasure to see all your faces here today. Let me begin by asking you a question. How many of you here feel like you're not quite living up to your full potential? How many of you sense that you have more to offer, more to achieve, more to experience in this life, but for some reason, you just can't seem to get yourself to take consistent action? Well, let me tell you something important. The key to unlocking that potential, the secret to finally making the breakthroughs you've been yearning for, all comes down to one simple yet powerful word: It doesn't matter how gifted you are, how intelligent you might be, or how much latent potential you possess. If you lack the discipline to consistently show up and put in the work day after day, then I hate to break it to you, but you'll never reach the heights that you're truly capable of achieving. Now, I understand. That's not an easy truth to accept. Believe me, I've been there too. There were moments in my life when I was overflowing with ideas, full of passion and drive, yet I couldn't follow through. I'd dive into a new project with tons of enthusiasm, only to lose steam a few weeks in. I'd declare bold intentions about transforming my life, only to slip right back into the comfort of my old routine. And do you know what I finally came to realize? The issue wasn't a lack of motivation or vision. The real problem was that I hadn't yet trained myself to be consistent. I hadn't developed the mental resilience and the self-discipline required to weather the storms that inevitably show up when you're trying to make lasting and meaningful changes in your life. But once I figured that out, once I made the unwavering decision to be consistent no matter the circumstances, that's when everything started to shift. That's when I began to experience the kind of steady progress and real success I had only dreamed about before. And I want to tell each and every one of you here today, the same transformation is possible for you. You see, consistency is the bedrock upon which every great accomplishment is built. It's the dividing line between someone who just talks a big game and someone who actually makes it happen. It's the trait that distinguishes the steady achievers from the hopeful procrastinators. It's what sets apart those who succeed from those who settle. And best of all, it's not some magical quality that you're either born with or not. No, consistency is a skill, a discipline that can be developed and strengthened over time. Think of it like a muscle. The more you work at it, the stronger it becomes. It's a habit you can nurture, a mindset you can intentionally create within yourself. But let me be clear, it's not going to be easy. Developing true consistency takes sacrifice, devotion, and a deep commitment to your goals. It means choosing to walk away from the easy distractions, the short-term temptations, and the urge to take shortcuts. It means pushing through resistance, doubt, tiredness, and those moments when you feel completely disheartened and showing up anyway. And trust me, there will be plenty of those moments, because the truth is, as human beings, we're wired to avoid pain and seek comfort. Our minds are naturally inclined to conserve energy and resist change. So anytime you attempt to break out of your comfort zone, anytime you aim to do something difficult or ambitious, your brain will resist. It will try to talk you out of it. But here's the bottom line. If you want to do something remarkable in this life, if you want to create something truly meaningful, then you have to be willing to push through that resistance. You have to be willing to face discomfort head on and keep going even when every fiber of your being is screaming at you to quit. Because what lies on the other side of that kind of perseverance? It's nothing short of extraordinary. I'm talking about real growth, tangible success, deep fulfillment, the kind of life that most people only ever fantasize about. But everything starts with that first commitment, that first decision to be consistent. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, but how do I even begin to build this kind of consistency? I've tried before and failed. What makes this time any different? That's a valid question, and one I've asked myself many times. So let me share with you 3 core principles that have been absolutely vital in helping me build genuine, long-lasting consistency in my life. First, you need to get crystal clear on your why. You have to connect with a compelling, deeply meaningful reason that keeps you going, especially when things get hard. Because without a strong enough reason, without a purpose that fuels you, your commitment will fall apart the moment you hit a bump in the road. Consistency is not just about willpower. It's not just about forcing yourself to get things done. It's about aligning your daily actions with your core values and your deepest desires. It's about knowing exactly what you're working toward and why it matters so much to you. So take some time to reflect. What are you truly passionate about? What drives you and fills you with energy and purpose? What kind of legacy do you want to leave, not just for yourself, but for others? When your actions are rooted in that kind of clarity and purpose, showing up each day, even when it's tough, becomes significantly easier. The second principle is accountability. One of the biggest reasons people fail to stay consistent is because they're only accountable to themselves. And when it's just you, no one else watching, no one else checking in, it's far too easy to make excuses, to slack off, to give up. But when you involve others, when you make yourself answerable to someone outside of yourself, it becomes a lot harder to slip back into old habits. Now, that doesn't mean you need to broadcast your goals to the whole world. In fact, I'd advise against that. Too many voices can lead to unnecessary pressure or criticism. What you need is a trusted group, a mentor, a coach, a small circle of peers who will support you, challenge you, and hold you accountable. These are the people who will encourage you when things are going well, and who won't hesitate to call you out when you start slacking. They'll help you stay on track, remind you of your commitments, and push you to keep going when you feel like throwing in the towel. And let me tell you, that kind of support can be absolutely game-changing. So ask yourself, who can you bring into your corner? Who can walk alongside you as you work to become more consistent? It might be a trusted friend, a relative, a colleague, or even a professional coach. What matters is that they care about your progress and will hold you to the high standards you've set for yourself. The third and final principle is about taking consistent, intentional action. Because at the end of the day, consistency isn't just a mindset. It's about what you actually do. It's about the systems you build, the routines you stick to, and the habits you establish. And I'm not talking about grand, sweeping changes. I'm talking about small, focused, deliberate actions repeated over time. And let's be honest, life is messy. Life is unpredictable. Life will throw curveballs at you. So if you don't have a structured plan in place, if you don't know exactly when and how you're going to show up, then you're far more likely to lose momentum. That's why creating a reliable routine is so important. Maybe that means dedicating a set time each day to your most important task. Maybe it means building a clear roadmap that breaks your big goals down into small, manageable steps. Maybe it's as simple as having a checklist or journaling your progress daily. Whatever it looks like for you, the key is to make your actions repeatable and sustainable. The more automatic your habits become, the less energy and willpower you'll need to maintain them, and the more likely you are to follow through consistently, even when life gets chaotic. Remember, consistency isn't about being perfect. It's not about never missing a day or never making mistakes. It's about building momentum over time, staying committed to your process, and bouncing back quickly when you fall off track. So, if there's one thing I want you to take away from this, it's that real change, real success, and real fulfillment doesn't come from short bursts of effort. It doesn't come from getting fired up for a few days and then falling back into old habits. It comes from the steady, deliberate, and often unglamorous process of showing up day after day, doing the work, and trusting that it's going to pay off. And I promise you, if you can commit to that kind of consistency, if you can stay focused on your purpose, surround yourself with the right support, and take intentional action every single day, there is nothing, nothing that you can't achieve. It could also mean setting up regular accountability check-ins, whether that's with a coach, a mentor, or a trusted friend or family member. Having someone to report to, someone who's willing to ask the tough questions and hold you to your word, can serve as an incredibly powerful motivator to stay on track. And let's not overlook the power of habit. When you're able to transform your consistent actions into automatic behaviors and routines, that's when the real transformation begins to take shape. Because let's face it, we are all creatures of habit. And if you can reach the point where doing the necessary work feels just as instinctive and effortless as brushing your teeth or brewing your morning coffee, then you've truly mastered what it means to be consistent. Now, you might be wondering, that sounds great, but how do I actually start building those kinds of habits and routines? Well, let me walk you through a simple, effective 3-step process that I've found to work wonders. First, begin small. Don't attempt to completely overhaul your life in a single night. Focus on introducing just 1 or 2 new behaviors at a time. Maybe it's setting aside 30 minutes each morning to tackle your most important task. Maybe it's committing to a 10-minute walk during your lunch break. The key is to make it small and manageable so that it doesn't overwhelm you and you can actually maintain it over the long haul. Second, simplify it. Remove as many obstacles and excuses as you possibly can. If your goal is to read for 30 minutes before you go to sleep, make sure your book or e-reader is already placed by your bedside so you're not scrambling at the last minute. If you've decided to exercise daily for 20 minutes, lay out your workout clothes and shoes in advance. The easier you make it to follow through, the more likely you are to stay consistent. Third, stack your habits. Look for opportunities to link your new actions to behaviors that are already firmly part of your routine. For example, if you already have a morning coffee ritual, use that as a trigger to do a short meditation or jot down a few lines in a journal. Or if you take your dog for a walk every evening, why not turn that time into an opportunity to listen to a motivational podcast or audiobook? By starting small, removing friction, and stacking your habits onto existing routines, you'll start to build an environment that supports your consistency instead of fighting against it. Over time, as those habits become second nature, you'll notice that the work doesn't seem nearly as difficult or overwhelming. It simply becomes part of your rhythm, something you do almost without thinking. But let's not sugarcoat it. Developing this kind of disciplined and consistent approach to your goals and dreams is far from easy. There will be setbacks. There will be days when you're exhausted, frustrated, or simply discouraged. There will be moments when the resistance feels insurmountable, and that's completely okay. In fact, it's normal, because the reality is, anything that's truly worth achieving in life is going to challenge you. It's going to demand that you leave behind your comfort zone, face your doubts, battle your fears, and press on through the tough stretches. But here's the thing, when you commit to being consistent, when you decide that no matter what happens, you're going to keep showing up and doing the work, that's when you unlock something extraordinary. That's when you start to develop a level of determination, focus, and inner strength that you didn't even know you had. Because let me tell you, on the other side of that effort lies something truly incredible. I'm talking about personal growth that transforms who you are. I'm talking about success that goes beyond accolades and bank accounts. I'm talking about fulfillment, deep, lasting, soul-level fulfillment that most people only get glimpses of in daydreams. Imagine for a moment what it would feel like to finally achieve that long-standing goal. Imagine the pride, the sense of accomplishment, the boost of confidence that comes from knowing you had the grit and the perseverance to see it through, no matter the obstacles. Imagine how that breakthrough would ripple out into the rest of your life, impacting your relationships, your career, your sense of purpose and direction. And the most beautiful part of all of it, that kind of change, that kind of life-altering progress is fully within your reach. It all begins with a decision to be consistent, a choice to build the habits, to overcome the distractions, to face the resistance, and to keep showing up day after day until your goals are no longer dreams, but realities. I know it's not always going to be easy. I've faced those same doubts, those same internal battles. There were many times in my life when I truly believed I'd never be able to break free from the cycles I was trapped in. But once I made the commitment to build unwavering consistency, that's when everything started to shift. And the results? They've been nothing short of life-changing. I've hit milestones I once thought were beyond my reach. I've built businesses, written books, traveled to incredible places, and most importantly, I've been able to touch lives and inspire people across the globe. And if you ask me what the common thread running through it all is, it's simple. It's consistency. The discipline to show up, do the work, and keep going even when it's hard. That, my friends, is the secret ingredient. That's the solid foundation upon which every lasting success is built. So let me ask you again, are you truly ready to be consistent? Are you prepared right here and now to make the decision to stop letting excuses and distractions dictate your future? Are you willing to begin taking purposeful, disciplined action toward the goals and dreams that matter most to you? Because the truth is, the world is in desperate need of more people like you, people who are ready to rise above the noise, who are willing to face discomfort and resistance head on, and who are prepared to do the meaningful, challenging work that leads to genuine transformation. I'm not saying it'll be easy. There will be times when quitting seems like the easier path, times when the challenges feel too great and your motivation starts to fade. But I also know this: if you dig deep enough, if you tap into that well of passion and purpose that already lives inside of you, you will find the strength to keep going. So let's make a pact right now. Let's agree to commit ourselves to being consistent no matter what. Let's hold one another accountable. Let's lift each other up, support each other, encourage one another through the highs and the lows. Let's show the world what's possible when a group of focused, passionate individuals refuses to back down in the face of adversity. Because here's the simple truth: the only real limits that exist in this life are the ones we place on ourselves. And when you have the courage to break past those limits, when you decide that nothing, not fear, not failure, not doubt, will stop you from being consistent in the pursuit of your dreams, that's when the true transformation begins. So, are you ready? Are you ready to claim your power, to step into the full force of your potential, and to build the kind of life that you've only dared to imagine? Then let's begin. Let's do the work. The future is wide open.